So Michael was our anchor for the ICL match in round. This is what, round two, and so you were up against Sasuke, which we kind of knew when we heard that Sasuke was coming up in the third spot that it was going to be a mirror match to a degree. Like you were playing Blue Steel, but they were very different Blue Steels. And so Blue Steel into Blue Steel is always rough. That is the tried and true definition of a dice roll deck, like a dice roll game. And you played those games perfectly. You were able to secure the victory that you needed to secure, which helps us with our seeding. So thank you for that. It was also of note your first time broadcasting something this serious. So in a lot of ways, it was also like an opportunity for you to kind of get to get the nerves out, right? Because eventually you're like, as you move up, you start having to put yourself in those tough situations. So before we do anything here, I just want to know, share a little bit about like your history with trading card games and a little bit about yourself and like how you wound up hanging out with the Illuminati.
So pretty much, I used to do like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon like in college, and I had like a local league, like a local like a group of friends we just would do every so often. We'd do like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and just no prizes or anything, just to get the game, just for fun and stuff. But yeah, this is like for when I out of college and they started doing. They released it. They were doing this Disney TCG, and I've been my family is a huge Disney family. So it was when I heard about this trading card game at Disney, and I was like, oh, that signed me right up. And originally it was just for collecting, and then I heard because at the time it was hard to get to like a locals kind of scene. And then I heard this place over here, Cool Stuff Games, and they had like a Wednesday night. I was able to get on a Wednesday night, and then kind of the rest of that, as they say, is history. And I kind of just kept playing, and eventually, I guess Gabe and group liked me enough. They invited me on. It's fun. Yeah, going from kind of like a collecting standpoint to now more competitive and being able to like really get better at the game and get prizing from it. Like as you, like the first set champs, like when I first started working with them, like coming in third was like amazing for me. I was like, that felt great. But yeah, it's just been kind of go from there and kind of leading up to who knows what going forward.
Very cool. Yeah, we got to figure out a way to make trips to DLCs viable for you. We'll figure out a way to do that. But what we'll do now is let's take a look at your deck. Walk us through some of the key things. Actually, let's talk a little bit about the matchup. So, what were some things that you like? Talk to me through some of the thoughts that you had as you were kind of playing through. Things that, places where you thought you might have won but you didn't, or things that you thought you had an advantage of, things that you were able to secure. So, talk to me about how those matches went in general for you.
Yeah. So I play Blue Steel. It was a Blue Steel mirror, and like you said, it was kind of very draw play dependent. Like there's very few decks where it's like I felt that disparity where it's like you need like on the play has such a big advantage against it. And yeah, it's different types of decks, but it's the same kind of strategy to it. So a lot of it is on the play. It's very easy to get ahead with that. If your opponent on the draw can't get what they need. And that first game where it was like I was on the draw and and there was a point where I had game on board, and it was a matter of how many items he was able to play, and he just happened to be able to play exactly enough to get to 15. Otherwise, I would have won that turn. But even that, it's a tough matchup because there's cards in there that are going to be like really great on the play and horrible on the draw. So if you draw those at the beginning, it can be a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about your deck.
We'll start with the item package. 4 Fortisphere and 4 Popsicle. They're kind of what make Blue Steel. Blue Steel is that being able to play that one drop that replaces itself. It's food for Hiram. It's target for Belle to play that for her. Just that even just being able to pop the Popsicle heals like a Smee to quest another 2 turns or so, or even the Fortisphere has times not necessarily in this matchup, but there are some matches where in a challenge heavy deck I can make something if I have a resist out on board to give something bodyguards. Now I can essentially go for a game a less valuable character on board. But yeah, that's pretty much all the items in here. We'll go can still see here. Or you wanna,
No, they're oh yeah, that's okay if they're off the screen.
All right, next one drop is 3 Captain Hooks. Yeah, I like it. It's not my ideal turn 1 play, but it's kind of later in the game that you have a Smee out. He's a good he's captain. He keeps that Smee from taking the damage. But even if I have him turn 1 against like aggro decks, it's a lot more difficult for them to challenge quest now because this can hit for 3 and take on most things, short of a Daisy or Nala or something like that. But it makes it a bit more viable in terms of the challenging aspect of it. Also, just for the fun part, it gives my deck one of a card from each set. But other than that, the premium mainly here for the challenge and the captain synergy.
That's cute, by the way.
Yeah.
I like that it's important to you that there's one of every, at least one card in every set.
It wasn't originally, and then I kind of, as I was building it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should keep it because it's one of each set, and from 1 to 7.
That's
so
cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Next up, there are 2 drops. So we'll start off with the 4 Smees. Hook's first mate, or bumbling mate as it says. He's great on the play. Just that turn 2, just being able to play him out and quest for 2 at least twice before he's at the ban. Either challenge or ban or something. Obviously against steel decks, if he quests once, in my matchup, it was that storm just being able to both times he's able to get it. Even if he had to hard cast at one time, but it's still, even to get that 2 lore, just that extra boost can really help. And plus, if I can get the hook out on turn 3, then I can do a hook and another 2-drop, another Smee sometimes, and take over there from there. Next, we'll do 3 Calhouns. Really great on the draw. Obviously not as great into a mirror match, because a lot of things have resist or high willpower, and especially if they ramp into like Lavish them, it doesn't really do as much. But like I said, against aggro, against that new green purple discard is coming out. If I whatever's evasive, I can shoot with my songs, and then whatever's not, I get Calhoun, and she trades with all the 3 willpower characters. Plus the 2 lore is always a good bonus as well. Then next 2 drop is 3 docks. Kind of an additional draw. It's not something I want to see ever beginning, but in the beginning of my game, but late game, if I'm running out of card draw and then the top deck dock is the best thing ever, to be able to do something and then play dock, draw 2 more cards, and then I can sing things or play other stuff, depending on how much ink I have available. And 2 ink is in the grand scheme of things not a huge amount to play it out. But yeah, he's kind of one of my 2 main draw engines in terms of keeping cards in my hand.
And it was funny because there was a moment where it felt as though you were overusing the resources in your hand, and everybody in this room and the commentators were like, "What is he doing?" And then you played Doc, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're good."
Yeah, I had Doc and then 2 other songs, and I was like, I can't play the Doc and then play the song too. I had to get rid of it, so I had to do it, get rid of a character, and then play the Doc to then refill it. But yeah, it's sometimes it kind of causes that kind of clunkiness where you kind of can't play it without having to then play the other stuff, which kind of why I have him a 3. So he's not like it's very much later in the game when I don't want to see him until later, but I want to see him enough where I can kind of play around there. That's the 2 drops. Next 3 drops. 3 Alice, 4 Alice. Really great on the play. Being able to do like a turn 1 drop, regardless of what it is, Smee, then Alice, and then just start giving everything ward and ramp and more lore. Can make like Smee now suddenly can't be targeted. Especially if I have a hook down, then he not only not getting damage, but he can't just get he can't get targeted by storm or strength or whatever it is. And even giving something like later characters, even giving that extra lore can make a huge difference. Giving that closing game where they a lot of people. I've had games where they don't realize I have the game on board because they forget the extra lore. And they forget that, I can just quest over and give something an extra lore, and then suddenly now I get that extra pip. But yeah, not as good on the draw. I'm thinking maybe cutting it down, maybe 3. It's just the one strength really makes a difference, and because like if you need to be on the offensive, she can take a lot of hits, but she can't provide the hits. Yeah. Next is kind of the newest addition to Blue Steel, and kind of a pretty broken card, I would say, is Bell. Essentially, it's a better Cinderella turn one. Being able to it's great. You know, beginning of the game to play Popsicle or Fortis Sphere and draw, replace it, and then play Bell. Because now Bell can sing. Next turn I can play Smee, and now sing Storm or Strength and get rid of a 2-cost character. The next turn I can play another character and play Strength and just continually sing it, and not have to worry about having to wait till turn 3 to sing my 3-cost songs. Even late game, being able to just have, if I have my items built out on the board, just being able to play that card for free and then play, let's say, a Cogsworth or an Alice, just kind of threaten that extra lore, that pressure is pretty good. Speaking of the songs, we go into the 3 drops for the songs. For Strength, it's pretty powerful. I'm constantly playing characters. I'm pretty much playing a character return at least. Even late game, I'm playing 2 or more. So being able to, like I said, with Bell, I can sing it. I can play like a Smee or Bell, or I can pop one and play. I can pop them for free essentially, and then sing for now 3 more. And it can get rid of. It can destroy characters. Like, it just being able to, like, I've been playing situations where they play like a 3-cost a 3-strength character like Grandma Tala or Fox or something, or even Goat, and I can just instantly get rid of it and not have to worry about them bouncing it or dealing with that. Next song is Storm. Kind of the ideal for Storm. Kind of the ideal turn 1 song to have in hand with Bell, because having the strength is better later game. We have all the characters, but that extra draw is great. Being able to finish off certain things, if a Maui runs into you and now only with a 3 strength, and now you can just hit it with 2 and draw a card off of it, pretty good. Other than that, yeah, it's like I said, even just having a hard cast a late game just to get a character off the board is pretty good too. Yes. All right. So then next is for Pete. He's kind of the game ender for this kind of aggro style, where he's pretty much good for whenever, especially like his red blue. He stops for how far it goes. Be prepared. It's Pirate's Life. So I can kind of prepare. I can kind of keep him in the hand until there's a perfect time to play him. Like, if I'm going on the play, I'll play him on turn 3 to stop him from ramping on for how far I'll go. They get to turn 6. They get to like a Maui Shark. I'll then play Pete so they can't sing Pirate's Life. Turn 7, same thing. Like turn 6, 7, I'll play that and stop to be prepared. Even something against like Steel Song, it's great because just to play it on even like a 3 if they have a high cost like a Ursula or Troubadour or Cinderella. Being able to just stop that singing is crucial, especially when like Smee damages himself and the characters kind of just go down from can just be very whittled away. Next is 3 Benja, primarily against the Ruby Sapphire matchups, and I guess in some cases Blue Steel. He's not. I'm thinking of possibly switching him out to maybe something like John Silver to stop the challenging, or maybe Lawrence for that 4/4 could be pretty good, or even something the Jafar that gives I guess +2, +3 I think in the challenge.
It's like a baby crab.
Yeah. So something like that, just kind of get over because in the revert, like I said, on the draw, if your opponent plays a Mudok Manor and I can't have to build up to that, that's a lot harder. So maybe the Jafar could give that over, or the Lawrence do that extra lore. Like, Bench is good. I just think, and there's many cases where I play him and then he really dies. Like especially against Red Blue, like I'll play him, get rid of a Coil, which is really great, but then he'll immediately brawl and I get no benefit from that. Especially when later in the game when they can just get it back for Tamatella.
Right.
So I'm still going to test it out, but I'm thinking I'm maybe switching them out to one of those three 3-cost characters. Next is our 4 drops. The 3 Mudok Manors. I guess we'll do it this way. Really great. Really great on the play. Like I said, turn 1 Bell, turn 2 Smee, turn 3 Alice, and then to play this. And now it's because it creates a real challenge of having to clear the board and deal 9 damage to the location. And it can just chip away, and it can kind of just go slowly get you that 20 lower point. And especially if they can get 2 out, and that it's pretty much, at that point, most times it's, if they can't deal with it, if you put a bunch of characters out and you play 2 McDuck Manors, you have to either prepare the board and then I gain 4 lore, or they deal with this and then I get quest out with the Alice and everything else. Yeah. 3 Flowerstones. He's also my secondary draw, and I've cut it down to, I was running 4 and I cut it down to 3 just because the items were getting banished. I'm just trying to banish items for Bell, and not having Flowerstone, being able to play him and not having a reliable source of item draw made it not as reliable to keep him in there. Because like I said, I play him and then playing someone like him and he gets brawled and there's Sisu and then he does nothing. Really great to play him on like turn 5. You can play an item and then draw him if you happen to have that combo, but other than that, he's a pretty good turn 4 against sealed decks, because usually they don't have an answer for him, because it's hard to get rid of that 6 willpower. But yeah, he's pretty good, especially with the items. Yeah. All right, next 4 drop. Last 4 drop is 3 Gramatalas. Didn't really get to play her this matchup, but she's pretty good. She's kind of a pseudo draw, kind of, where it's a matter of I can look at the top 2 and see what I kind of help me dig in for what I need. For whether that's if I need an item for Flowerstone, if Flowerstone's out there, I can look for an item. If I need a bell, let's say, I can hopefully maybe one of those 2 cards can be a bell or a song that I need to sing with the bell. Just kind of help me thin out what I want and what don't want on my top deck. Plus, she's a 3/3, and that's pretty good to hard to get care of. Last is 5 drops for Cogsworth. Pretty good against steel, amazing against steel decks. At one time I got 3 of them out, and there's like nothing can get rid of anything on my board. There's questing sitting there, even something as like Maui can't touch it. Particularly, I can get 2 out, and suddenly now, or 3 out, and suddenly these each have resist 2. And especially if I can give the Force Fierceling Bodyguard. But yeah, he's ward, so he's not easily removed. Though he is really bad into the Sapphire review matchups. Because all I need is 1 Sisu, and it kind of destroys the whole board. But like I said, against every other matchup is just being able to play him and just say, you can't touch my board until that actually physically with ruby removal. It makes it pretty good. And then finally, the spice of the deck are the 3 Vigiras. Originally I was testing out Pluto's, but there was too many times where Pluto was getting hit by a 1 drop and then just banished and essentially achieving nothing. He at least Vigira at least kind of helps with the songs, because as it is banished, it will do 2 damage to all opposing characters. So again, something where it's very challenge heavy, like let's say a Ruby Amethyst or that green purple deck, being able to just play a bunch of characters and play this, and then say if you have to deal with my board, but dealing with my board wipes your board. So all those Diablos and all those the Foxes are gone. The Maui challenges into it, it's gone. And you're right, the followers, so he just kind of gets rid of everything. And then whatever it doesn't get rid of, I can then sing the Storm or Strength, whatever, to get the remaining damage off. So that's coming in handy a lot of being able to just do that too and do it. But yeah, that's the whole thing.
All right, I got it. So the last question I'm going to ask you, let me just adjust this camera before I do anything too crazy though. Yeah. So you mentioned some of the things that you would change about the deck. Kind of thinking about it now and thinking about your ICL match and how that panned out for you. Some of the things that were actually commented on in the chat was like the Bagheera, for example. Like the Bagheera started in your opening hand, you inked it.
Yeah.
So some people might say, is it worth it at that amount? Is the 3 the right ratio? Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 0. Maybe that's not. Maybe you still love it. I don't know. But I'm curious. What are some things that you would change about the deck or modify to maybe have made your chances better today?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, the Bagheeras, I still love him. He's great. He's a great card. And like I said, against challenge decks, it's just even with Maui Shark, it just makes them have to think twice about it, because they don't get that. They get the action back, but not the lore. They don't get to keep them on board. Yeah. But maybe just the fact that today was just unlucky, because I mean, most other games I've almost seen one or two of him at a time. Because I want to see him on ideally turn like 5 or 6 and be able to play him after a Cogsworth and be able to just play him here. And now he has resist and everything. But what I don't maybe later in the future I might change him out for like a Chinpo or something a bit more of a sturdy bodyguard. But I guess it's just more testing to kind of figure out if that's the right thing, or just going down to 2 and kind of just fleshing out the deck more. Like I said, the Benjas kind of are pretty good, but it's just like in that matchup where he was just playing item after item after item, Benja did almost nothing. He got rid of an item, and then he didn't play Tomoto, get those 2 back and play them back, and then quest for 10, 15, whatever it was. So I think maybe having something that gives them better, either gives better lore that stays on there longer, so like Lawrence or like John Silver that can stop them from challenging, so I can just keep questing and keep going for the aggro matchup, the aggro plan. That'd be a good plan. That'd be probably a good switch up. In terms of anything else, I don't know. Maybe some ratios here and there, but nothing. I think the deck's pretty good. Like maybe at most, I would say maybe if I had to change another thing, maybe the Captain Hooks to like the Steel Mickey that has resist. That could be good if Steel if Steel is more prominent, or even the Mulan or the Simba that draws and discards just to get flesh. Got to dig for more viable stuff. But yeah, I like the deck the way it is. I think it's just more ratios, I guess.
And I think it's important to note as well that like just because you had one bad match doesn't mean you should immediately turn around and change your deck. Like it's okay. Like you cannot possibly build your deck to meet every single demand, and sometimes you just have to say, is this the matchup I'm okay with? It maybe being 50-50, which I mean it's a blue steel matchup. It's a mirror matchup. And those usually are. 50-50.
And like in the mirror, that first game, it was neck and neck, and it was. And I had the board. I said I put in a position where I'm like I have the board, and if you have to essentially either play a bunch of items to win that turn, or I win.
Right.
And he played. I remember how many, like 7 items.
Yeah. And
then quested for 15, which I could never have stopped that. So something I had to put him in a position like that.
That was one heck of an OTK on his part.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What I will tell you, what I will share with you is that you played exceptionally well. You played the hand that you were dealt. You played it amazingly. There was moments where people wanted to question you, and then they're like, "Oh no, yeah, he was right. Michael made the right call there." So great job with the play. Thankfully we were able to win. You got a 1 victory out of the 3 games that you played against Sasuke, and every victory counts because we want to make sure that we are as high as we can be on seeding. Yeah. So Michael, even though you lost the round, you did a hell of a job. You did a fantastic job, and we're proud of you.
Hey, and maybe Garrett will probably never show up my hand ever again, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah.
All right, cool. All right.
Okay, there's that. And then ICL 3. All right, here, Mike. I'm gonna give you the headphones when they say go. Just hit play. You should be fine. If you need help, just give me a shot.
They're gonna be confused because it's gonna say Freddie F. Rivera on the film.
Don't worry. They know.
All right, we're about halfway through game 1.
If he swings Tamatoa here, he can take a lot.
Yeah, Mike is currently he was playing on the draw, and it seems that Sasuke has advanced his ink in a pretty dangerous spot. Michael got better board presence, has got more lore, but we got to see if Michael can claw this back from the draw. All right, we'll see if he can do it. We're 2-0 right now. Michael can make this 3-0. Never talk ill of the Illuminati. Never talk ill of the Illuminati. Michael Steiner in a position to lose. Might have turned this around. We got to see. It's not over yet.
No, it's over.
Oh, yeah, he's got the time? Oh, he does, yeah.
So it is 7. It's 7. So he's at the bottom. Yeah, this is just
8? Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
5 more. 14, 15. Oh,
That's gay.
10. Or is that 8? Is that 18? No?
What?
I don't think
Like
not.
that?
8, 13.
So it's best for 9. 10,
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, he got it.
Get ahead of me, which Sapphire still has been. I think that like the P here on this turn is probably one of the weaker 3 drops we have.
Yeah,
This is even. It feels like we're just on the draw, kind of like not even going where we want to be.
All right, we're in game 3.
Right?
Mike put down a McDuck Manor. Oh no, not good.
With no.
Wait. That was when
Okay. We just had all the
Yeah, he did.
3 manners. That's okay.
Bro,
We just had all the manners. But this is interesting, right?
there you go. Okay. That's good. That's a good play.
It's like a really weird
Calhoun solves problems.
Nothing in
But I
hand.
do wonder. Like,
I don't know. He needs to top deck a dock.
One in hand.
Okay.
that's kind of where I would.
He needs to top deck a dock.
Doc.
Well, yeah, that way he can either ink or play what he's got in his hand and play the dock.
I need to play. Looks like we got.
He's got no items, so yeah, dock would be the play here. We need dock.
No, yeah, I had a game on board, and it was like I had to go for the game that turn, and it was like either he has the items to get to 20 or he doesn't, and then it was kind of like obviously you saw how it went, but I was kind of in a position where I just got to go for the game and see what happens.